sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. He once was a true love of mine. Trying to make me a cambric shirt. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Without no seams nor needlework, then he'll be a true love of mine. Time to find me an acre of land. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Between salt water and the sea strands, then he'll be a true love of mine. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. He once was a true love of mine.
Begin transmission.
Looks like I've got Mega Demon Collects with me. Hey, how you doing? Yo, good morning. Good morning to you, sir. I'm doing something I don't normally do. I am actually streaming in the morning because I didn't have to go to work today. Yay! I am Bill, and you're watching Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. And I have a guest here with me, so I'm going to introduce him right now. Say hello to Adam from Radical Toys. Hey, what's going on, Adam?
Hey, how's everyone doing today?
Doing pretty good. We got a little video issues this morning with Adam, but we got him on. He's on his phone right now. There you go, Adam. And just hanging out. Like I said in the thumbnail, it's the after Christmas mess here. It's kind of funny. My toy table over here looks a right mess. If you're wondering what that eBay box is there on the top, if Grindhead Jim ever gets a chance to watch this, I found something that I'm going to be sending to him. I know he had a 3D version of this made, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind having the original sign that goes on his firehouse that I sent him. So there it is.
Cool. The original fire.
Yeah, and it even has the original sticker on it too, Adam.
Oh, that's nice. Isn't that
So
isn't that common pieces that's missing off that firehouse?
The one that I sent him, he got everything that he needed for it except the sign, but he had a 3D printed sign made. I've got one myself. I'll show it real quick. I've got it right back here on the junk table behind me. Oh, let's see here. That's 3D printed.
It still looks cool. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, he and I both think that we probably need to do a little bit of a wash around here to bring out some of the details in the ghost. But I mean, it's not bad. And
Print it one myself. I like it.
it's nice. But you know, I think he would also appreciate having the original one. You know, that's supposed to be on his firehouse.
Oh, sure.
Oh, look, there's somebody here in the chat with us. I bet you know who that is.
Radical Mom.
What's going on, Radical Mom? And yeah, it says Radical Toys. Nice to see you on with Bill. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've had Adam on the show, but he and I are both pretty busy these days, so it's kind of hard to connect. And being in our time zones are a little off as well, so it's kind of hard to connect sometimes. And he's busy. Adam, you've been pretty busy lately. So one of the things I wanted to ask, since I'll have you on the show, and some of the people that may be watching this may not know about your channel, and that is Radical Toys, and you've been around a little bit longer than I have as far as streaming on YouTube. Can you give us a little short bio of your journey into toy collecting and how you got onto YouTube and started your channel?
I first started getting into it because I was watching other people, so I have a lot of inspiration, like Mega J Retro, one that really pulled the trigger for me. So I was like, well, if he can do it, why can't I? And that sort of mentality. And then Dead Smack right around the time that Origins, Masters Universe Origins, was coming out, and we were also dead smack, basically in the middle of our pandemic or the beginning of the pandemic. So it all just kind of fell into place, and that's why I decided to start it. My only regret is that I didn't start it 10 years ago.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is I started my channel 10 years ago, or more than 10 years ago. I think I created my YouTube channel in 2013, and it was basically just a video repository, so that I could have a place to send my videos to show on my blog when I was doing Bill's Sea Monkey Adventures, which was the original name of the Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures blog. And I didn't really, at that time, I didn't really think that think about anything about being, a YouTube channel and putting out content continuously like this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Motu Origins came about, and I started putting Motu Origins videos on my channel, that I finally thought, hey, I might be able to go somewhere with this. And then basically, I moved over here to YouTube. I still have a blog, but mainly my blog just reblogs what I post on YouTube. J80 Hobbies is in here. Good morning, amigos, he says. It's good to see you, J80.
Yeah.
I'm glad you decided to hop in with us this morning. Good to see you, man. I was telling Adam before we started the show, I said, I don't normally stream this time of the morning, and I'm kind of curious to see who might show up. So it's 9 o'clock my time. I guess it's 9, 10, 11, 11, 13, 11, 14 there where you are, right? So
Yep.
uh, it's kind of interesting to see what's going on. I was going to try to pick Adam's brain a little bit this morning because I thought it would be fun to find out. So once you got your channel started,
Yep.
was it in your mind that, hey, I'm going to get 1,000 subscribers someday and I'm going to monetize this?
Yeah, I was in my mind from the get-go. Yep.
Okay. Can you tell me what it took to do that and how long it took?
It took me. It's different for each person, but for me, it was about 2.5 years it took me to reach that goal. And I don't know if it was due to so many YouTubers out there, or if it was just the way that I was doing content. I don't know. Everyone has a different speed of how they reach their 1K subs. Some people are longer than others, but I was just happy that I finally made it, and I just been kind of moving forward with that.
So it took you what, 2 years?
About just over 2 years. Yep.
And once you reached your 1,000 subs, did you find yourself leveling out, or did you find that the subs keep rolling in?
At first they started to grow in, and then I'm starting to notice that they're slowing down again. So it's always fluctuating up and down. But one thing that is positive is that I haven't gone down in subs, which is always good. As long as I don't go
Yeah.
down, I'm fine with resting where I am, and then because eventually you're gonna get there.
Well, there's a question that a lot of YouTubers have in the back of their mind. Once you reached 1,000 subs and you got your channel completely monetized, which means that you're doing the ad revenue share as well. What kind of money does YouTube give you on your channel for the ad revenue?
It's peanuts. It's literally nothing. Your is going to be your donations and your channel memberships and things like that for the first little while. Now, if you got 30,000 subscribers, that's going to be a whole different ball game. Somebody like
Mhm.
Mega J, but yeah, when you're first starting out at 1K, you're not really making much. But it opens up the opportunity for your super chats, things like that. And your super chats are pretty much, in my opinion, the best thing for it.
I agree. And Sue Studio's here. Hey, Sue Studio, glad to see you this morning. I'm off and I'm still testing my new microphone and testing ways of bringing guests in without using StreamYard. I actually canceled my membership to StreamYard. So after January, I won't have access to all the bells and whistles over there. I don't need it anymore. I have this now.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, that's fairly expensive a month, is it not, for to pay out StreamYard now? And does it not give you the 1080p? I don't know what the requirements are with StreamYard, but
Okay, StreamYard works like this. Okay, you got the basic free version, which puts where it says live streaming up there, where my logo is over in that corner. It puts their logo up there, and you can't get rid of it. That's free, and you can't do overlays. You can only use the overlays that they give you, and your mom says you've come a long way and done very well. I'm very proud. You had great supporters. I agree, Radical Mom. He certainly has, and one of those supporters is right here supporting you right now, and that's Radical Mom. And also J80 Hobbies has really supported a lot of us here through the Ozzy's Toy Network. So that's been a great thing. But yeah. So once you got monetized and you got you started out with a Patreon, if I'm not mistaken, and then you got monetized. Is that correct?
yeah, I started my Patreon a little bit late. I didn't start mine until it wasn't until Sir Clifton kind of gave me that push to do it. He wanted to become a Patreon supporter, so that was roughly 500 subscribers. But you could start that anytime.
That's right. And I started mine fairly early in the game as well. And actually, I was lucky. I had a few supporters. Now, we were back to talking about how StreamYard works. So you got the free version, And then, hey, I like Salt. Good to see you, man.
You can't
And
hear. That's it.
I think everyone else can hear us. If you can't hear us, let us know. But I think that our audio is coming in just fine. Uh, make sure that you have your output set to that headset there, sir.
Yep.
But anyway, so the next tier is the $25 tier, and that's the one I've been paying for about a little over a year now. $25 a month, and basically it takes all my Patreon money away from me to pay for that. So all my
Right.
patrons basically have been supporting me on Streamer. Now I don't have to pay that money to StreamYard. I can put that money towards a new machine to run this channel on.
Now, does that give you the 1080p quality
No,
unlocked, or are you still locked at
sir.
720?
You're locked at 720 still, but you get to add your videos in if you want to, and you get to add your overlays in, and you can add music in, your own personal music, instead of just being locked into what they let you have over there.
Right.
The next level is the $50 level. Now you're talking about Sir Clifton over there at Turning Lips. That's the one he was paying for a long time. That one gives you the 1080p. But here's the rub on that. Okay, it's streaming you out from its site at 1080p. But the video that it's receiving from you before it sends it out, it's compressing that, and it's also compressing your audio. So
Right.
you look like crap and you sound like crap at 1080p.
Yeah, OBS is seems to be definitely the better choice.
Yeah, but OBS is more complicated.
It is.
Yeah,
I agree. It is. Sure.
Sir Clifton has gone to a new service that's like StreamYard, but it also doesn't compress your video, and it's called EV Mugs. And that's what he's using now. And it is a little more, it's like StreamYard, but it's not like StreamYard. It's a little different. So getting used to having something different there is kind of hard. And of course, I go over there and help him out a little bit when he runs his shows on Sunday night. As a kind of a co-host and behind the scenes producer, as you may well know. And that software is not as intuitive as StreamYard, although you look at it, it looks very similar.
Right.
And Sue Studio says, I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. Well, I certainly did. We celebrated Christmas on Sunday here, and I was alone yesterday, which is why I streamed a little bit yesterday. About a couple of hours, me and John from over there at Figuratively Speaking hung out for a little while, doing about the same thing you and I are doing right now, just kind of chatting and talking about ourselves a little bit. So on your journey to monetization, what kind of schedule did you come up with, and how did you come up with that for when you were releasing videos and streaming?
Oh man, I was just playing the field. Like I was just doing whichever days and figure out what sticked and what gave me the most crowds and things like that. And I ended up working it out to be 10 p.m. Eastern time. And now I'm thinking about switching it again to 8 p.m. The 7 p.m. Eastern time is what I'm thinking about switching it over to. But I won't know that until tomorrow night to see what type of crowds there are. So I'm still kind of fluctuating on what days that I want to do. Because right now, where half my channel is news, well, if there isn't anything with G.I. Joe, Masters of the Universe, and now that I'm into Marvel, then I've got no news. So I got to come up with other content. So it's been a little bit instead of like Monday to Friday now, I seem to be like twice a week now versus like the 5 days a week that I've been pushing hard for. So still kind of finding the knack, how I want to do things. The only thing I have set in stone is my live unboxings, because like the other stuff that I cover live is Mattel Creations, right? And they drop at certain days, certain dates. So it's not something I can predict.
Yeah. I do know that you had a lot of success with the Geek News. Are you going to
Yeah,
continue to do that?
the offline geek news, no, that's done. That basically what I'm doing in its steed, because it seems that people like it, is doing the premieres where I'm in the chat with people.
Okay,
So I am
yeah,
doing it, but it's going to be, instead of just an online video and you guys watching it, I'm in the premiere chat with you guys. So that's the only difference. But yeah, I'm still doing that stuff.
okay. So, do you still just kind of break in every once in a while with just a live stream just out of the blue and start talking to folks, or have you settled in on kind of a pretty much a schedule whenever you go live?
Well, when it comes to the news stuff, it's just whenever something big hits. If something big hits that I can cover for over to an hour or later or longer, yeah, I'm coming live. Like when Mattel does a big drop or Hasbro does a big drop, that's when I'm going to come live with you guys. Otherwise, it's just going to be a premiere.
Okay,
Yep,
and
that's pretty much.
I was kind of hoping that I could get you to tell us about your collection and what you like to collect and what and your journey through collecting and what your major toy brands are and IPs.
Right now, of course, it's always going to be Masters of the Universe will always be my number one, though I recently got a little experience of burnout with it. That's because of constantly collecting it for over 3 years. So ever since I started the channel, right? So I'm a little bit burnt out with it, but I'm still doing it. Masterverse, I pretty much stopped with. I'm basically on Master Universe Origins, G.I. Joe Classified, and our good old X-Men 97. So
Okay.
I'm X-Men right now.
And back when you first started, so it was just Origins, and then you moved on from Origins.
It was Origins and Masterverse. I always, it was Origins, Masterverse, and G.I. Joe Classified. Those were always the main three that I did.
Mm,
I just kind of got where I got a little bit burnt out with Masters of the Universe in general, so I needed something new to re-spark my, my toy enthusiasm, and that's why I got into X-Men.
okay. So you're just doing X-Men 97. You haven't fallen into the complete rabbit hole of all of the Marvel Legends, have you?
No, not all Marvel stuff. Like not Spider-Man stuff like that. It's not just X-Men 97 though. I do like I've got some of the retro hardback ones. I'm gonna go after some of the VHS ones, whatever ones I can get my hands on in affordable range.
J80 is saying that the X-Men is a hot thing at the moment. Yes, it is. The X-Men 97 is I think they started that cartoon show back up again.
It is
Uh,
next month.
and then of course the figures, I've seen them on the shelves here and there. I haven't seen a whole lot of them, but I have seen them appearing in Walmart here. Uh, I'm not collecting Marvel Legends. I have a few Marvel Legends figures here in the collection, but it's kind of cherry picking, just little things here and there for various reasons. And same thing with GI Joe. Now, tell me about GI Joe. How did you get into collecting GI Joe classifieds, and how far have you gotten so far with it?
G.I. Joe Classified, I was pretty much always into G.I. Joe since I was a kid, so that was just a given for me. I started off with Wave 1, though I'm still missing Duke for some reason. But anyway, yeah, I got into G.I. Joe Classified, and then I kind of took a little bit of a break, and then I kind of got back into it again. And now I'm at the point where I completely decided with G.I. Joe Classified, because I like the retro toys, like the way that they looked, I'm specifically going after the retro card back ones now. The rest of them, I'm done with them.
Okay. Uh, I recently bought a few GI Joe classified figures, but it's kind of a funny journey there, and I seeing what there's coming out here new on the retro card backs. I'm kind of I'm kind of getting worried that I might get sucked into that because I think I put the Scarlet and Duke figures on my pre-orders over there at Big Bad.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited about that Snake Eyes that's coming out that's supposed to look like the Commando Snake Eyes from when I was a little kid.
Yes.
But
he became a ninja.
that was before he became a ninja. That's right. He was the Commando. But I was over there at Sir Clifton's show, and he opened up a Destro figure, and that was the original boxed version of Destro. And of course, at my Walmart, they've had the carded Destros been hanging out there for a while on the retro card, and I ended up buying that one and Baroness and Lady J. Of course, I think I sent you a Baroness and Lady J back last year.
Yeah.
But I found this on Big Bad. It was still available. This is Pimp Daddy Destro. Of course, I added a hat and a cane to him, but that this figure here is probably one of the most ridiculous figures that I've ever seen in my life, and so I had to have it. And then I had to bring out all the ladies. That they're still hanging out back there, some of them, but I've got the mess from Christmas is still in the way. But anyway, I'm trying to not get into another toy line because my funds won't be able to support that. But it seems like that the G.I. Joe classifieds on those retro cards, that's bringing back a lot of memories to me, and it makes me want them. Go ahead.
I mostly like them because you're getting the accessories that the original ones came with. That's the big taker for me, because I'm finding a lot of these newer ones that are coming out. Like when they announced the Dreadnoks, they came out. Well, they were missing the, Buzzer was missing the oil can on the Alice frame. Well, I want that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to stop collecting them. I'm going to go after the retro card back ones when they come out.
And so Figuratively Speaking says hello to everyone. Good to see you, sir. And Rolando Flores is here. Hey, Rolando, how's it going, man? But yeah, those retro cards are just sucking me in, and I got to be careful because my toy lines have always been Superpowers and Masters of the Universe, and I've tried to stay there. And the Masters of the Universe Origins, that and then they came up with those retro Real Ghostbusters stuff a few years ago, and I wanted to get in on that, and I got all that stuff.
Did you know the wave for those?
The fright features, they're coming out. Yeah, I'm not too interested in those. I think I've got what I want from Real Ghostbusters for right now. We shall see. But and then when Todd McFarlane came out with the new versions of Superpowers, he kind of revived that a little bit with vehicles and figures. I've kind of gotten into that, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear this, but the Masters of the Universe Origins is winding down, in my opinion, and pretty soon what will be available is probably going to be direct from Mattel, and we know how that goes. That's not a fun process yet.
Well, I'm at the point myself with Origins. If the line ended, I'm perfectly okay with it. I've got all the characters and then some that I thought I would ever get in Origins.
Same here, and I never got into the Masterverse. Although when I was at Target the other day, I saw this for basically $10. $10. They had this on sale, and a lot of people have gotten them now. Do I want to collect them? No. Did I really want this figure? No. But I bought it for $10, so it's going to be a great giveaway when I get to 1,000 subscribers.
Well, there you go. Yep.
And there was another little line. I haven't collected these. I've got like 2 other figures. I've got Captain America, and I've got Spider-Man in this line, and this line ended far too soon. And that was these small 3 3/4 inch Marvel Legends figures. This is Firestar here. I found her at an outlet store called Ross Dress for Less. I think I paid $2.99 for this.
How articulated are those ones? Are they just the basic like reaction type figures?
IPO.
Okay.
You got the shoulders up and down here. You've got her legs up and down, and you got her head side to side. That's it.
Okay.
In my opinion, these figures were never designed to come off these cards.
Yeah, that's kind of my idea. I think they look better inside the card when it comes to those ones.
Yeah, and of course they said that they've halted the line for now. That's corporate speak for they canceled it. It's no longer being produced. So
Right.
Now, where they could have made some money, I think, is if they had made those at the same scale as Superpowers. I think they could have made a ton of money on that one.
Are they not?
No, Superpowers are 1/16 scale.
Okay.
Whereas those are 1/18 scale. So
Okay.
3 3/4 inch are a little bit smaller, whereas the Superpowers are like 4.5 inches tall instead of 3 3/4 inches tall. So they're a little too short.
Yeah.
And I also cherry pick other lines like NECA. I don't buy a lot of NECA stuff
Either, but the odd thing might strike my interest with NECA.
Yeah, I bought this. Saw it at Target the other day. I've got the retro carded version of that looks like it's on the Mattel card from when Mattel did those little Flash Gordon figures from back in the day. One of the other things that I've gotten into is buying stuff from the smaller companies, like the Power Stars figures that came out. They're in the same scale as Superpowers, have the same articulation as Superpowers, but it's figures like Phantom and Flash Gordon and stuff like that. I love that kind of stuff. And then Toyota, of course, has been doing some of the same idea as well. And I got the Rocketeer figure from that. So, it's not like I'm deep into a lot of toy lines other than Superpowers or Masters of the Universe, but and the other thing that I do here is I mix my toy lines, and then I make videos of them interacting with one another or take pictures of them interacting with one another. So.
Well, I'm like you. I only collect a few toy lines, and I stay within that. But because I gave up on Masterverse, I was able to bring in another toy line, so that's why I brought in the X-Men stuff. Because I'm done with Masterverse. I pretty much finished with it.
Well, let's kind of get into that. What got you turned off to the Masterverse?
The newer waves, they were too much of a. I know there's going to be a lot of disagreements with me, but too much of a departure of the way they originally looked like, and I just didn't like them. And not only that, but I was always turned off by the He-Man, the basic He-Man buck from Masterverse Wave 1. I never liked it from the get-go. It was just characters like, Manny Faces, Shadow Weaver, Sorceress. They don't have that buck, right? But the other characters do. So I just didn't like them. I don't know. They just weren't appealing to me. So I decided to just give up on the line.
Gotcha. And it's understandable. I'm kind of reading through the chat here. Let me catch up a little bit. I'm not going to be able to show it on the screen at the moment. But Rolando Flores says that he bought the Superpowers when they went on sale at Walmart. He said he missed Origins, He-Man, and Skeletor, and bought some Revelations on sale. And J80 Hobbies says there are several lines on sale or clearance at the moment. I've seen a lot of classified on clearance. Yeah,
I've been here. Yeah. Now's the time to pick some stuff up if you guys are looking for that stuff.
And check your if you have I know that they probably don't have those up in Canada, but down here we have a place called Ollie's. I don't have any near me. check those places. You never know what you're going to find on clearance there. And I just discovered a place called Ross Dress for Less. They have a little toy section over there, and a lot of those toys that are over there is the stuff that never made it to Walmart, or Walmart got rid of, or Target, got rid of, and whatever, and it ends up there. And you can buy like a G.I. Joe Classifieds figure that costs normally $25. You can buy it in there for like less than $9.
Right. Yeah, I don't have Ollie's here, but I keep hearing about you guys like with Ollie's and how good it is over there.
On the other hand, you have to dig through a lot of crap to find the good stuff. Those stores are designed to get rid of stuff that doesn't sell, and but that bothers me as well. So that means that a lot of this stuff that they've been producing over the last 2 or 3 years is basically not selling. So it's winding up in the clearance aisle or in a store. Hasbro's going through some trouble right now. They've laid off over 25% of their workforce.
Did they say what their annual sales were? Like, do they release that to the public or no?
They may have. I don't recall seeing any numbers on that. I've just watched a few people here or there talking about it. A lot of the gaming community talks about that quite a bit, because Hasbro also owns Wizards of the Coast, and Wizards of the Coast produced the role-playing game Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep, that's right.
And a lot of the people that have been released from over there were working in Wizards of the Coast on Dungeons and Dragons. So, and Dungeons and Dragons has got some issues within the creator community that they've hired in there to work for them. And they're at odds with their fans. So in the gaming community, so that could have a lot to do with it as well. I don't know. And over there at Mattel, they've got issues as well, and some of that is releasing stuff that doesn't need to be released, and not releasing stuff that needs to be released, in my opinion. And also the way things are going. I mean, I cannot stand that the way they do the releases over there on Mattel Creations. I mean, that how in the world can a working person who works at the time this is released get in on that when you can't do anything from work, and then by the time you get home it's sold out because it's sold out in 15 minutes.
Basically, what you got to do is do what Joneser does: sneak into the washroom and order online.
He's done quite well. He's done quite well at that. He has more. He has more ability to do that than I do, because I can't leave a machine that's liable to tear up a whole bunch of stuff and sneak into the washroom sometimes. So. But I have had some success, and I've had some dismal failures getting some stuff from Mattel Creations. If they want to do that, why don't they just open a storefront and offer it like Big Bad or something like that?
Or if they did it like how they did with the second wave of Grizzlor, where it was made to order, that's a little bit different. They gave people a 48-hour window to order as many as they wanted.
Yeah, and I would go for that. I would think that would be a wonderful thing that they could do, and I don't see why they wouldn't.
Well, doesn't generate the hype, right?
No, I guess it doesn't. And did you order the Grizzlor that way?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay, how long did it take?
If I'm not mistaken, I think he's the one that got me him.
Oh, Joneser bought it for you.
I think he did. I think it was Joneser. If I'm
Okay.
wrong, someone's watching. Correct me. But I'm pretty sure it was Joneser that got it for me.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Myself now, like I do it now, because they offer. Back then, they didn't offer the $13 flat rate shipping. Now they do to Canadians, so it's awesome.
That's nice. I'm glad they did that. So I was just wondering how long it took for them to make the Grizzlor figures and actually get them out to the people who ordered them on the make to order.
That's the downside. That's the big drop, because I remember waiting quite a while to get that Grizzlor. I can't remember exactly how long, But I can give you an example though. For say I order a figure from Mattel Creations, I can only speak for Canadians. Now that's one that's in stock. They take about a week to get it ready and ship it out to you, and then you're looking at another 2 weeks to get it in your hand. So that's about 3 weeks for a figure that's in stock. So you can just imagine how long it's going to take for one that's made to order.
Yeah, because they got to tool up a factory in China. They got to produce those figures. Then they've got to ship them over to Mattel. Then they've got to then ship them out at that point. So that could take upwards to 6 months to a year before you get your figure after you've ordered it. That's a lot of wait time.
That's the downside. Now, remember when Fangor come out, I ordered him, and man, I must have waited forever for him. And he was, I think, pretty sure he was in stock, but I waited forever for that figure. I was it was at least 2 months, 2 to 3 months. No, it was 3 months. 3 months before I got him.
Figuratively speaking, says what I can't stand about Mattel Creations, and Hasbro's done the same thing, is that they do the secret sales. And about 90% of the time when they do them, the secret is nobody's informed until it's too late. And then, yeah, here it is right here. I can put it on the screen.
Ninja drops.
Yeah, they'll do that. You know, suddenly they'll drop something, and then 15, 20 minutes later, it's sold out, and then you find out about it, and it's too late to order it. So
Well, I remember the last one was the Duplico one, and I was asleep, so I didn't even have a prayer to get one.
Yeah. You know what's funny about Duplico? That brings up a good point. You know, apparently that's a pretty rare figure, and everybody's looking for him, and nobody can find him. They actually had one on the shelf at my Walmart one time. I think I did a toy hunt where you saw me find Duplico and bought him. And I did. I grabbed him off the shelf and I bought him that day and brought him home. I had no desire to have this figure. I just bought him out of the blue. And he was sitting over here and he never opened out of his package, just kind of sitting back here for a long time. And then Grindhead Jim was grousing about getting it, and I had said, "Well, I've got one. If you can't ever find one, I'll make sure that you get mine." Well, then he got his. Actually, he's got 2 or 3 of them now, so he didn't need mine in addition to all those. So I found out that our friend pop actor Rick was kind of grousing about the fact he lives in Canada as well. And he was saying, I'll have to order overseas for mine and get took to the cleaners. And I said, no, you won't. And I boxed mine up and I sent it to him, and he got it here just before Christmas.
Oh, nice.
So he got a nice little Christmas present of a Duplico.
Oh, that's good. That's why I like our community, because everybody helps each other out, you know, instead of these eBayers and, you know, things like that.
Oh yeah, well, you know, I think Joneser did a rant over there on his show about Evil Bay, and of course I've done nothing but rant about it for a long time. Jay, figuratively speaking, says I didn't get my maid to order Grizzlor until about the end of July. Yeah, and there's, I guess, the Eternia playset that they did for crowdfund is going to be dropping here sometime this spring, I think.
I think so. It's due out pretty darn soon. It should be hitting stateside pretty soon.
Susudio saying there's a place that I ordered from a while back that had it so that you were on an email list that you get notified or release of merchandise. Why can't the toy companies do that for their figures? They do. Here's the point. By the time you get your email saying that the figure is available on Mattel Creations, it's already sold out.
Yep.
So one of the things is that here in the toy community that helps, it's not perfect. There are those who sit there and watch that stuff happen, and as soon as they see it's available, they'll put out, you know, on social media, "Hey guys, you need to run and go get that." And that for someone who is on the social medias all the time and has their phone set to notify them whenever somebody posts, that's good. For those who don't, it's the same as the email. By the time you find out that it's available, you're just too late.
that'll check that every day. Just like I'm on Amazon every day looking for the deals. Every single day. I check it at least once a day.
And George Valentine has joined me, says, good morning, sir, in chat. And the one we were just talking about, like you speak of the devil and he shows up, Pop Actor Rick down there in the chat says, we get the shaft in Canada with Motu, and that was nice, Bill. Thank you, Bill. Well, you're more than welcome, Pop Actor. I know that at the time you were probably needing some cheer, so I tried to give you a little bit of cheer up, and I added a couple of stickers for the show and all that in the box, and I hope you enjoyed all of that.
Yeah, I guess just because of that head is why everybody wants that figure. I guess.
That, and he's just a rare figure. I know that if you want to make a Cody Rhodes figure, you got to get that head.
Also,
right
be good,
now,
wouldn't it? Like be good Flash Gordon head.
Yeah, I've seen that done as well. You take a King Randor figure, and you can make a Flash Gordon figure with that head.
Mm.
It looks perfect. I think Hebro did that, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably. Yeah. Just weird how it's that one out of the bunch. I don't know. Weird.
I don't know what's special about him, but yeah. I think they finally released all of the Masters of the what is the Rulers of the Sun figures. They've now completed that, yeah. And one of the last ones that people were grousing about was that 3-pack that had the Pizza Man in it and Bolt, I think. I've seen that at Target several times here at the Target that I go to. So yeah. Now the remaining 3-pack Sunman is going to be a challenge, says Rick. Well, I've seen it a couple of times, like I said, at Target. But I haven't picked it up because I never was interested in getting those figures. I mean, it's a great story. It's a great thing that this lady did for her child, and there's nothing wrong with the toy line. It's just that I never collected it and had no desire for it. I'd rather
no connection to it.
Yeah, I have no connection to it. Now, Warlord, or Lost World of the Warlord, those figures, those Remco figures, I'm all about that. Galaxy Warriors. But in order to do those, I have to make customs to make them into Origins. And luckily, there's people like Lee Customs out there that are doing resin pours of those old heads and fixing them where you can put them on Origins figures. And I've done a few of those, and that's been a lot of fun. But
right,
customization can be a chore. and it takes time, and you have to repaint stuff and repurpose.
Like, that's a skill that I just don't have nor have the patience for. So kudos to those people who can do it, because that's just not for me.
Well, I'll tell you what you do have skill at, Adam, and that is art. You are probably one of the most talented artists that I have ever met. And I don't know if you still do this or not, but at one time, a lot of us baby YouTubers were coming to you for animation for our openings and stuff like that. And if you guys have ever seen my animated opening with my logo whooshing out to you, a la Superman the movie, this is the man who did that for me. And I can never thank you enough, Adam, for doing that for me. That was a wonderful thing that you did.
You're welcome. I still do logo designs. That seems to be the thing that I like the most, is doing logo designs. Like the animation stuff takes so long and it's tedious. But logo designs I find are so fun because I like to take a person and turn them into a cartoon character. I love
it. And you do it so well. And as a matter of fact, the opening that I use, there's actually a longer version. I haven't used it in a long time. I've been trying to figure out how to cut it around so that I can use some of that stuff that's in there. It's just too long. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
but he's got a section in there where you see me standing there, and then I raise the power sword up over my head, and I become He-Man. Basically, it's kind of funny. And he did a cartoon me in that, and I love that. You did Joneser's intro. I know you did a couple of intros for him. And you're very good at it. Now, If you're wondering how you can get Adam to do something for you like that, I can tell you, go over there and join his Patreon. If you join his Patreon, there's a tier on that will give you access to him, and he will do things for you like that. Is that not correct, Adam?
Yep, I give you it doesn't matter what tier you join. I kind of made it so that all tiers can get the same thing, but basically what you'll get is you can have your choice of an animated intro or a logo design, preferably logo designs because I enjoy those. You'll get the same thing. You'll get a combo. You'll get a banner, logo design, and watermark all created by me. So it'll be your logo design, watermark, etc., etc.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, you also do art lessons over there. Is that not right?
I haven't well, I did a little bit of them. Like I did some like videos, but not really. But it's not something I would reject or anything like that. But because I can do them, but I don't really do the art lessons. I was just showing people a couple like ways how I do my like animated puppets, things like that, because people were curious.
That's what I was thinking about. That's what I was thinking about. Oh,
Yeah.
and the other thing, I don't know if you've still been doing this or not, but you at one time you were doing time lapses of you drawing pictures.
Oh yeah, I haven't done those in a while. The reason why I stopped doing those is because YouTube doesn't understand art and toys is a separate thing. So my view count went down, and it's not because the art was bad. It was just because YouTube doesn't understand it.
The algorithm wasn't pushing you, in other words. So
Me at all.
Yeah, I encounter that as well, and I've gotten to the point where I guess you could just say I don't care as much about that. That's one of the reasons my channel grows slow. But then again, what I do gain is loyalty. People who watch me continue. The chat over here is a good example of that. I mean, look at who we've got. All these people have shown up just because I've just popped up out of the blue, unannounced, and started live streaming.
Yep.
Pop Actor Rick says eBay prices are outrageous. And your mom says, I love the intro when it comes on. It's one of the best. Of course, it's one of the best because one of the best made it for me.
I gotta admit, I'm pretty proud of that.
You are one of the best, and you and I have been friends for quite some time through thick and through thin. And sometimes I think that you don't get enough credit for the things that you've done. So it is my pleasure to give you all the credit in the world for those things that you've done. It's just a good thing, and try to promote you a little bit. And your patron, your channel has just grown like gangbusters.
No, hopefully it'll get hopefully it'll get big someday. But if I don't, you know what? That's okay. I'm still having fun with you guys, so that's the main thing. He's enjoying it.
That is the main thing, is having fun. You know, I was told recently not to do something on YouTube because they were afraid that it would affect my channel analytics. And I did it anyway. And that was, reading Christmas stories. And I released that video yesterday. I finally got it cut. It took me a little while to get it cut, but finally got it cut and released. And you know what? I released that for a reason, and it'll sit there. Now, if it don't get a whole lot of views, I really don't care, because the people I want to watch it are going to watch it anyway.
I get a question for you, since we're on these kind of topics. What is the one thing that, through your experience with YouTube, that you hate the most?
The level of censorship that there is on the YouTube. The fact that if I want to do say wrestling, for instance,
right?
See, my channel is not just a toy channel, even though it says Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures up there. It's a pop culture channel more than anything else. Toys are just part of pop culture, and wrestling not only encompasses toys but also pop culture. And there's wrestling fans who watch me because they know that if there's something in wrestling, I might talk about it, especially old wrestling back in the day. when the territories were around. But if I want to do a show about that, and I want to show just a small clip to illustrate what I'm talking about, here comes the ID. Here comes the content ID against me, and I can't monetize that video. I can't, I can't use that to collect a super thanks or something like that. Or if I were to get completely monetized, I wouldn't be able to get any ad revenue off of that. So that's probably one of the biggest issues that I have, even with fair use. And the ability of anyone to come in and I've had this happen. People realize this. There are people that don't own the content that you use. The content that you use is public domain. It's been around forever. It's all over the place. But because some rapper somewhere might have taken 3 seconds of that in a sample and put it in his rap song, now his managing company or whatever is going to come in and copyright ID me because I showed that. That happened to me with a 1950s video of someone talking about how to have a party or something like that. Here comes some out of nowhere person saying, "Hey, you used this stuff. It's ours." No, it wasn't yours. You sampled it. You sampled it from public domain. That doesn't suddenly make it yours.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and so even if you have used something with fair use, which is that's a nebulous thing, and it changes from country to country depending upon copyright laws. But even if you are in the right on that, you still have to go in and dispute that. And then you have to wait for YouTube to come along and either side with you or against you. And they always side against you. You have to dispute the dispute and keep going with it and kind of try to outlast it. And it's all done by robots. There's no human beings involved in any of that.
Yeah, good luck finding a phone number for YouTube for customer service.
There ain't
That's
one.
Worst things that I hate the worst. Like, what happens if you're accidentally locked out of your Google account and you can't get into YouTube? Like, what the heck are you supposed to do?
Cry, because they don't give a damn.
That's right. And these are that make a living off of YouTube, like,
I'll give you a good example of what's even worse is if your channel is suddenly just struck off the map of the face of the earth and it's gone for something that you didn't even know about. This happened to a kid who was running a channel called Andy's Dinosaurs or something like that.
Okay.
And he bought some Jurassic Park dinosaurs legitimately from a place that had released them before the release date. So he shouldn't have had them, yes. But the place that sold them to them shouldn't have sold them to him in the first place. He had bought them legitimately. And he was so excited about them that he made a video showing them. And then I guess it was who's doing the Jurassic Park? Is that Mattel or Hasbro?
That's a good question. I'm not sure who does Jurassic Park. It might.
Yeah, I'm not into Jurassic Park, so somebody in the chat may know. But then they came in, and it wasn't a copyright ID, which won't kill your channel. No, they did the copyright strike, and they struck his channel, and YouTube took his channel completely away from him and never told him why or what. An email. That's it. That's all he got was a vague email from them. And his channel was totally destroyed. Now, he did get his channel back, but the only reason he got it back was because of the community outrage over that. But if it happened to you or I, there wouldn't have been enough community outrage because there's not enough community behind it. We would have just lost our channel. And I'll tell you something else that now this happened to Jameson's Travels. He's a military veteran. He's got 3 channels. One of them is called Jameson's Travels, where he goes around and he travels around the country in a mobile home, and he'll talk about where he visits. The second channel was a channel called Odin's Men. Now it's still around. It's a very political channel. And as you know, YouTube is on one side of politics, and anything on the other side of politics, they tend to take a dim view of. He was totally monetized, and he was making big time money off of that. And when they demonetized him, they owed him close to $50,000, and he can't get that money, and they won't give it to him. When they demonetize you, any monies that you've built up in your account that you're owed, they don't give it to you.
Stop there.
And not only that, when they killed Odin's Men, every channel that he had was also demonetized. So that meant that all the money that they owed him for Jameson's travels, he didn't get that either.
Lord, what a kick in the face!
Really? And you asked me that is what I hate the most about YouTube. Now, back at you. You tell us what you hate about it.
A lot of things that I hate, or at least I don't know if it's the worst thing I hate. One thing I do hate a lot, and I understand it's for good reason sometimes, is the audio. You got to watch what you put in for audio, because you get your stuff taken down. You can get warnings, this and that. I've had it happen a few times. I've only had it like maybe twice since I started, but I never got any strikes over it, thankfully. But it's always in the back of my head. Hey, I can't put this in here. If I want to do a YouTube video, well, maybe I'd like to have some He-Man music in there. Oh, no, wait, can't do that.
You have to get sound-alike music, or you have to do what I do. You have to subscribe to a royalty-free service that will let you get access to royalty-free music for free. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. YouTube makes no sense, says George Valentine. Rick says, my problem with the Sunman line, if I had known ahead that it would have been such a heartache to complete the collection, I would have gotten involved in the first place and just stick Motu Childhood. Okay. Blue Sasquatch says, not enough sharks on YouTube. George Valentine says, having to hold one's tongue is annoying. And it's the broken copyright system that makes things so unstable. Now, when he talks about holding one's tongue, there are certain topics that you cannot really talk about. And if you do talk about them, you have to talk about them in code. If you want to talk about those things that people hold in their hand and go bang, bang, and something comes out the end of it, you can't really talk too much about that. Or if you do, you have to do what I'm doing right now. You're talking about the pew-pews, Or if you want to talk about that thing that you were talking about earlier that happened that helped your YouTube channel get started, you can't really call it what it was. So that's why the word coof came into use. We call it the coof over here on YouTube, or we talk about lockdowns, but we can't use the P word, and we can't use that C word that the coof stands for. Everybody in the chat has watched enough YouTube to understand these vague terminologies that we have to use in order to get around what's called a community guideline strike. And a community guideline strike will absolutely kill your channel. Kill it. Dead. You can't get a community guideline strike at all. And the rules on that are nebulous.
No coming back.
George Valentine also says, someone tried to claim my voice saying that I was using auto-tune. Oh my God. See, that's the other thing. Anybody can come in and make a claim against your channel. It's just that simple. You're the one. Yeah. Instead of it being like the legal system where the onus is on the prosecutor to prove, and you have to prove yourself innocent. No, you have to prove me guilty, Jack. I don't have to prove myself innocent. But that's the way it is on YouTube.
Yeah, you got to prove you're innocent on YouTube.
That's right. Let's see. Figuratively speaking says, I never knew about the Sunman line until Origins, and I just love it because the line broke the ethnicity being used in the Motu line and other like. I agree with him on that one. I have no problem with that. Yeah, I'm like Adam though. It's just it doesn't resonate with me because I never collected it when I never was even aware of it when I was a child. Were you aware of it when you were a child?
I've never heard tell of it until Pixel Dan posted his video. I had no idea what the heck it was.
Yeah, exactly. Um, Rick says I grew up collecting Motu as a kid in the 80s. The Remco figures I was aware of, but not Sunman. Never heard of until, like you said, when Origins came along. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And George Valentine says, and you have to dox yourself to fight. That's correct. If you want to fight any kind of strike that your channel gets against it, you have to document yourself. You have to out yourself. So if you're now, I don't care. Adam, I don't think he really cares too much either. Everybody knows who we are, but there are some channels that want to stay anonymous for reasons. And there are other channels that are what I call faceless channels. So they put out lots of content, but you never see the creator's face, and you never hear their voice. A lot of times it's an AI voice behind it as well. And I don't have a problem with that. Apparently YouTube does. They're fixing to fix it where any AI content you have to document in your channel starting this coming year in 2024.
That's going to hurt them guys.
It is. And I think that's why they're doing that.
So are they doing it to faceless people too? Like just not just the AI, but faceless? Man, because as soon as you said that, that made me think of the Review Spot. Big YouTuber in Canada. Huge toy guy. He never shows his face. I've never seen it. I've watched him for 14 years.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what happened there.
I think it's just AI content. If you're doing AI content, you have to it's going to be. Have you ever seen like up here in the corner over here? Sometimes there'll be a little thing that says this video has a paid promotion in it.
Yeah.
I think what you're going to see is you're going to see more and more videos that say up there in that corner over here, it's going to say this video has artificially intelligent content in it, AI content in it. But that's a slippery slope, and of course it's gonna go from there to not even letting it be on at all.
Now, stuff to throw on your screen that you don't want to see.
Yeah, Rick says when YouTube first started, it was free for all, and you could put anything on it you wanted to, TV shows, movies, and music, until someone killed it with copyrights, and then everyone got on board. Well, when YouTube first started, it was a privately owned thing, and it was just free, and anybody could put up. And I think you were limited with how long the clip could be. 5 minutes might have been the most you could put up, but you could put up a 5-minute clip of anything you wanted to. But when Google bought YouTube and folded it into their family of products, their conglomerate, that's when things began to go downhill. And they had to do the copyright stuff too. So. But the thing is, I don't think that there's a human being involved in any of that. I think it's all operated by robots and algorithms.
Wouldn't doubt it.
J80 says the system of the beast, YouTube and all social platforms. Yeah, that's correct, J80. You're right about that. And you have to learn how to maneuver in that system. And Adam and I have both come against it. One of the things that happened to me one time, I was live streaming in the middle of the night, and I was showing old movie trailers. And one of the movie trailers I showed was from a movie called Shogun Assassin, which is basically the movies of Lone Wolf and Cub, and they recut them and showed them in America and called it Shogun Assassin. And it has a wonderful little trailer with some music in it that is kind of cool and everything. Dude, they took my channel smooth out, a blank screen. It's and people were showing up like, "What's going on, Bill?" And then I realized that YouTube was blocking me, so I had to kill the video real quick and then wait every few minutes for my channel to actually start streaming again. And
wouldn't let you show it.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me show it. So I did a video about it the next day, and it's still up there. It says, "Why did I get blocked?" And that was why I was showing that. I think it was Toho, the movie company. Toho owns that. They were the ones that and it wasn't. There were no humans involved in this, people. Their automated thing detected that was being shown, and then that contacted the robot at YouTube, and then the robot at YouTube said, "Okay, kill the live feed for right now until he stops putting copyrighted content up."
Right. Yeah. It's always a slippery.
It is, and I don't know that it's ever going to get any better. We can sit here and grouse about it all we want. We just have to learn how to get around it or operate within it.
That's why I always say it's an interesting topic that no one seems to talk about. But I always say, like, the first generation of YouTubers had it so easy. They didn't even have to interact with the chat. They just made videos, and they didn't even have to go live or anything. And boom, they're big. I mean, look at Pixel Dan. Good example.
Yeah.
Never seen, don't really see the guy interact with the chat or anything like that. So
no, I know. I don't even think he goes live. Does he?
no, not that I think he has a few times. I think he did with the Origins Castle Grayskull. I think he did with that one, but not very often. Very, very rare.
Yeah, and well, YouTube didn't start live streaming stuff until after,
Right.
Twitch had been around for a while, and well, that's why they're doing shorts, is because of TikTok. Whenever some new service comes along offering something video related, YouTube says, "Okay, we got to be that too." So live streaming on YouTube came about because of live streaming on Twitch. YouTube wanted to be Twitch, and then TikTok came along with the less than 1 minute, little videos. So that's when shorts came along to try to compete with TikTok. And that happens with any big company. Facebook is a perfect example of that. It's called the enshittification of a company. Facebook is enshittified. Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, it's been enshittified, and YouTube is enshittified as well. And what that means is that instead of operating in the niche that they were designed to operate in, they expand themselves to be everything in the world that there is out there. And then the little niche that they had the good thing in becomes shit.
Mm-hmm.
It has become enshittified.
Yeah. I just think they had it when it
Go ahead.
started. I think they had it easier because there wasn't like, I don't know if you want to call it competition, call it whatever you want. But I think they just had it easier back then when it started back in 2008.
Well, sure. I mean, you could throw up a 15 minute or less video of anything you wanted to, and people would subscribe to you based upon whether they enjoyed what you were putting out or not. There weren't any algorithms. When you went in there, you could see what had been posted new, and you could search for what you wanted to find, and you would actually get good results, kind of like Google used to be, and it's not anymore. For Google is a perfect example of something that's weird. Okay, if you don't think Google is different for each and every person and each and every platform that it's used on, then you're living in the old ages. And I'll give you a perfect example. Go to your computer right now and do a Google search for anything you want. Get your goddamn cell phone and go to Google Chrome and put the exact same search in there, and then look at what your phone gave you and compare it to what the computer gave you. It'd be two different things.
Yep.
Let me catch up with the chat here. Susudio says, I was subscribed to a wonderful channel that did memes, and I suddenly got no notifications from the channel. And when I pulled it up, the channel was gone, removed. Rick says, Wondar was another figure I'd never heard of. Glad I got it now since I heard it on the legends on the net. Yeah. Susudio says she wants to be anonymous if she ever does a channel. George Valentine says, I never show my face. I have a face for radio. Rick says, when I start a channel, it would not be Motu Talk. I think that's been discussed already. I would not have anything to add that people don't already know. I might get into conspiracy topics. Well, I think Joneser and I have talked about that. You and I, Adam, may have talked about that as well. One of the things that I can't do over here is be the first person to do a toy review. Manchild's got that taken care of. He's going to get that toy way before I do.
Yeah.
And toy reviews. If you want to see a really in-depth toy review, Pixel Dan, he's got that done. He's doing that over there. What they're watching me for is my opinion on it. You're a perfect example of that, Rick. You watch me to see me talking about it. You already know everything that I'm going to tell you. You just want to hear what my perspective is on it, and that's what we have to end up being. Now, do you agree with that, Adam?
No, absolutely, 100%. Because it's like you said, guys like the Manchild, Pixel Dan, Toy Bro, all of them guys, they're gonna have the toy way before I can even think about having it. So that's perfectly fine. Kudos to them for doing it. So, you know,
and not only that, but I'm not going to name any names, but a lot of those guys, they don't pay for those toys that they're getting. They get them sent to them so that they can do the reviews for them, which also means that their review is going to be biased. Because in order to do that, you have to sign this little agreement with them. And I think that if I'm not mistaken, you have to say, okay, this is this toy was given to me by such and such. You have to say that. I think you do.
Probably.
Correct me if I'm wrong, J80. You may know more about this than I do. Not saying that you do such things. I'm just saying you may know about it. But I'm not going to compromise myself like that. If it's a shit toy and I get it, I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it. A perfect example of that. I love my Snake Mountain, but when I got it, the little trap door didn't make the figure fall in it. The figure fell across it instead of going down in the hole. That was right there on the video, so you could see, with complete with fail horns, wah 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 wah. Nothing wrong with showing the failings of something, even if you can show the good parts and the bad parts.
No, absolutely.
Moving on down, the problem with YouTube, says figuratively speaking, is that it's censorship and makes it not free speech. So Studio says, I remember when Yahoo had chat rooms. Yeah, I remember that too.
You too.
U.S. government. Rick said that he used to make web pages with Yahoo. And J80 remembers the Yahoo chat rooms. Yeah, I remember them too, and they were good. Some of them were based upon the hobbies that we have, and a lot of that information that was in those chat rooms you could search for on Yahoo or whatever. All that's gone now.
Yeah.
And,
well, I remember our old reviews, especially when it came to games and stuff like that. It wasn't videos; it was text. You had to watch like game facts. You had to, if you want to figure out how to cheat on something or get through something, you had to read the text.
And I'm showing my age here on that. I'd rather read it on a site that shows that I can read through and maybe see a few pictures than to watch a video on it. Because if you ever tried to follow along with a video and do it while the man's talking, you got to pause the video, then you got to reverse him back.
That drives me nuts. It's the main reason why, as much as I like the franchise, I can't play Zelda games. I can't play them because I'm one of those people that can't do puzzles, and I have to sit there and watch what he's doing on YouTube and try to do it at the same time. That's why I can't touch them games.
But I bet you that if you read some instructions on it and you could have them sitting over here and to look at it and then start playing the game, it would be a lot easier for you, right?
Yeah, because I used to do that with it was an old war game called Dynasty Warriors, and we used to have to figure out how to get our fourth weapon, and I would just read text and then I'd just go do it.
Yeah,
it was great.
But increasingly there's more and more and more people who are unable to read, I think, or they refuse to read. And that's why, everything is all YouTube videos. You go search for something on Google, which also owns YouTube, and you're looking for instructions on how to, say, install something into your computer that you've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
How many web pages are going to come up with step-by-step instructions, and how many YouTube videos are going to come up, and what's going to be first in the search? Nothing but YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video. And then when you finally do find a web page for it, it's filled with so many ads you can't even read what's in there.
Yeah.
I don't know how to take this, Rick, but Rick says I'm like the Rush Limbaugh of toys. You know who Rush Limbaugh is? He's gone. He's dead now, but at one time he was probably one of the biggest conservative radio talk show hosts in the United States. He was hated by all the liberals and loved by all the conservatives, I guess you could say. And of course, a lot of people mistakenly think that I'm a conservative. I am not. I'm what's known as a libertarian, and I'll happily tell everyone that I'm a libertarian and that everybody hates us. George Valentine says, I was going to restart my channel next year after I figured out the direction that I want to go in. I'm from the dark days of AOL chat rooms. Ooh, I remember those too. Rick says, those that get paid for those toys, they make it sound easy for us to buy them also. That's what I don't like, is that impression. Yeah, when you have all your toys given to you and you're not spending your hard-earned income on them, that does make it seem like that it's easy to collect toys when in reality it's kind of not.
Let alone trying to find them.
Yeah. J80 Toy says, I don't watch any of the big channels just for that particular reason. There's a lot of bias in them. I watch those that I build friendships with, and those that will be truly honest about a toy or price. I agree with you, Jay. I agree with you on that. Yeah. Rick says, in the early 2000s, Yahoo was the hit search engine, and then Google came along. What I hate now about Yahoo Info, it's all the Kardashians or Taylor Swift. I haven't been to Yahoo in years. I've got a free Yahoo email account that I use occasionally as a backup, but other than that, I haven't done a Yahoo. Do they even still have a search engine over there? I wonder.
I think they do, if I'm not mistaken.
I bet it's powered by Chrome or Google. Or Bing. Susudio said you had to watch out on the chats on Yahoo, because if it was a chat for people who were single and of a certain age, weird things could happen.
They have it built right to
Move over. There we go. Yeah, good afternoon. Okay, search the web. There we go. It looks kind of like a Google clone.
Yeah, I have it. It's well, I'm looking at it through Google Chrome or whatever.
Rick says it wasn't an insult, Bill. I hope not. I mean, you speak your mind. I was just messing with you, Rick. I knew what you were talking about, but yeah, I do speak my mind, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people will watch my show. I know I've gotten several people who support me monetarily because they enjoy watching me sit over here and speak my mind or rant or talk about something and not hold back a whole lot on it when I do. So yeah, I can understand that sentiment there, Rick. What about you on your channel? Do you have to kind of sometimes watch what you say when you're making a review, or be careful about what how much information that you put out?
Really, here's my take when this is the only thing that I think of in the back of my head, and it's the only thing that matters to me. The way I see it is, this channel is my happy place. This is my happy time, and I'm going to keep it as positive as I can and keep the negative shit out, and that's just how I do it. Now I can turn off the switch, and as soon as I'm done doing that, I might think different. I think a little bit differently. But when I'm live, I keep shit positive. That's what I want for my audience. Now I will. That doesn't mean I'm going to lie about the product. It just means that I just want to do things in a positive way.
Absolutely. And the idea of trying to entertain people is one of the things that I do over here. So not only do I have toys, but I want to be entertaining when I'm showing the toys, and I want to do entertaining things with my toys. And like you said, it is a happy place for me to go, and I don't want any drama to come in and spoil that happiness. So if I have an issue with someone else or they have an issue with me, we can hash that out in private, but it will not be ever be taken publicly on this channel.
I'm like, sorry, no.
Yeah.
Never had to kick anybody out of my like a couple. I mean, there's always a bad egg, but I was able to just get around it. Thankfully, it didn't progress too bad, so I got lucky that way. Knock on wood. But you know, I won't ever. Most of the time, if somebody is in the chat, the way I would handle it, if somebody was in the chat and they were going off about something, first I wouldn't even acknowledge it. I won't read it out loud on the screen. I'll just go over it. But if it continues, you're going on a timeout.
Yeah.
You're out.
The only thing I've ever had to kick out of my channel were the porn bots, and I think YouTube finally got rid of all those. I haven't seen them in ages.
I haven't seen them. And actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was having them too for a little while, but now I don't see them at all. So they must have got them out.
I must have, like you said, knock on wood. But as far as people go, I've never had to silence anybody in my chats. I think one time, one of my moderators silenced somebody who wouldn't stop posting big blocks of emojis. And that may have been a bot. I don't know. But as far as interactions with other channels, I've only had one issue, and that issue is basically so small and minuscule to me that I don't even think too much about it. You know,
right.
Just leave it be what it is. Your mom, the radical mom, says, that's what I like about Bill. He speaks the truth, and that's why I watch. Thank you, radical mom.
Yep.
And Rick says, if that figure sucks, Bill will tell you. Well, I think I've actually had a toy break on me on the air before. And if I can break it, then it's a problem, because I'm not trying to break anything just by moving it around.
Right.
And I think that's something that people need to be aware of. And now I know that these Dungeons and Dragons figures had bad reputations when Pixel Dan broke one of his on his channel one time. I haven't had any issues out of them, but then again, I'm not trying to break them. You know, I just want to pose them in a pose and show them on a shelf.
Those actually are. How do you like those figures? I've seen them on clearance, and I was just curious about them. You like them in general? Or?
Did you ever watch the cartoon show back in the day?
We did, yeah.
Okay. The reason I got them is because they were released, I guess, 30 or 40 years too late. That should have been toys that I had when I was a kid, toys that I craved for when that cartoon show was on the air. And that's why I bought them. Do I have issues with them? Yes, I do. I have a few issues with them, and it's not quality issues per se as far as the joints go. I know that people were scared that they would break like Pixel Dan's did, and some people did get some broken figures. I think that if they're heated up for a little bit and they're kind of loosened up before you start posing them, they're fine. One of the issues that I have with them are I think the faces don't really match what the cartoon faces look like. I think they look a little Disney-fied.
You have problems with.
Yeah, that's probably the only issue I have with them. The other is NECA has the rights to issue figures based upon the old LJN line. Okay. So these figures are out of scale with the NECA figures because these are like 5.5 or 6 inch figures, whereas the NECA figures are 7 inch.
Well, who makes those Dungeons and Dragon figures? Who's the company?
Oh, these right here.
Yeah.
This is Hasbro. Hasbro has the rights to do that because they own Wizards of the Coast.
Okay.
Okay, they own Wizards of the Coast. So anything Dungeons and Dragons related, they're going to do, except stuff like what you know how NECA operates. You know, they'll pay you enough money so they can make figures and overprice them and sell them. And I have some of them back here, and they're beautiful figures. I have no problem with them, but I wish that they scaled better with these. They're way too tall for these figures. Yeah, they're kids, and yeah, you can use force perspective, and you can kind of fudge it out a little bit. But in my opinion, back in the day when LJN did their Advanced Dungeons and Dragons toy line with Warduke and Strongheart and all those in it, these figures should have been in that line as well. And I think they could have printed money if they had done that.
Right.
Rick says, I like it when Bill talks about comic ads. That was one of my favorite shows. Dude, I am going to do a video, probably going to do it today. That's probably that's my goal. I'm going to do that video today because I've done nothing that I'm supposed to done today. Nothing except take that chair out of here. But as far as making videos for the channel, I'm sitting here interrogating Adam and talking about all kinds of stuff here and enjoying myself instead of making a few videos. And that's okay. But you talk about comic ads. Have you ever heard of the AAU Superstar?
Can't say I have.
Well, in comic books, in ads in those comic books, a brand new superhero came upon the scene, and his name was the AAU Superstar, and he sold tennis shoes. And I am going to do a video about the AAU Superstar and his fight against John Lennon, the dirty hippie. And that I'm just going to leave it at that. But it should be a simple, quick video that I can make. I've already got a script wrote out for it, so I can do that. And you stay tuned, Rick. I'll give you a comic book ad that you'll never forget.
Cool.
Cecilia says, you would not believe what I found on Google just now. Uh-oh. Rick says, Hebro got a Motu figure from Creations. They put the exact arm on each side. He was mad when he opened the package. Oh my God. So they put like a left arm on the right side. I haven't had that.
That was the notorious for the classics line as well. That happened a lot. They put the same bracers on the same arms and stuff. They were very notorious for that. And I believe Scott said the reasoning for that is because of the shift switching, I guess. So the six.
Oh, in the plastics factory where they were putting the stuff together when the shift would switch.
Right. He said that's a lot of the problems why that would happen. I don't know about any other lines I can't speak for, but.
Well, you can blame the shift switch for it happening. But here's what I blame for it actually getting released: quality control. So quality control is supposed to catch that before it ever leaves the factory and then get over there and fix what's causing that quality issue to happen so that it doesn't continue to happen.
Right.
And Susudio says that she found Elton John figures. Well, good. She's been searching for Elton John figures for a while, so I'm glad you found those. She's still looking for Captain Fantastic, I believe. So that's something that she's looking for. So what can we look forward to in this next year on Radical Toys?
Well, tomorrow is going to be an awesome video because I am going live tomorrow. I wasn't going to do Wednesday. We were going to switch it over to Friday because we are doing Wednesday and this Friday. So tomorrow is going to be me and Mike live, and he sent over a toy box with a bunch of stuff in it. So I don't even know everything that's in the box. So I get to open it. So Mike sent over. We're going to be doing that live tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then Friday, me and Christina are going to be live here. And we're going to be doing some Star Wars stuff.
Oh, have you been collecting Star Wars Black?
She does. That's what she likes. So we got some Star Wars characters, some of the new line, new waves. So we're going to be doing some of that stuff here over the next couple of weeks. Next couple Fridays, we'll be doing that here. So that's what's going on. Other than that, it's just the regular unboxing Wednesday nights and, you know, my premieres when it comes to the toy drops and Mattel Creations whenever they decide to bring in some of the rest of those origins that are supposed to be coming.
So what are your predictions about what figures that the Origins line are going to be releasing before they finally just call it quits on that?
I think they're gonna call it quits pretty soon, and I think they're just gonna continue the line with the cartoon one. And I don't know what they're going to do after that because I think the turtle mashup one I think is a great idea, but it's probably a contracted license, right, between them. So that lasts what, maybe 2 most, probably a year.
I think the turtle line was a good idea as well. It's not something that really it's not something that really resonates with me because I never collected turtles, and I'm probably not going to buy any of those. One of the things that I was kind of hoping to see happen in the line, not that I would get everything in it, but at least release every figure that was done vintage, like Cyclone and Rio Blast. You know, those figures need to come out. And then there are those who want the rock-ons or whatever they were called.
Yep.
They want to see those happen. And then there's a select group of people, and I think that I think this is going to be crowdfunded. They want to see those dinosaurs get released.
Yeah, the Powers of Grayskull or whatever they call it. I don't know if they're going to get to those or not, and if they did, I think they would be crowdfunded. Wouldn't it? They were huge, weren't they? Those unreleased ones or whatever, like the ones that they showed
They were released. I think they were released overseas. They were like big enough for the figures to ride on, but there was one that was never released, and that was this huge brontosaurus that was almost like a play set.
Right. Yeah.
I don't ever see them doing that one. And if they do, like I said, it'll probably be some kind of a crowd fund. Now they are going to do the snake layer, they say, which is a brand new playset that was never done.
Yep.
Which is fine. But if you're going to do that, at least finish out the vintage line before you quit. Even if you've got to release it on Mattel Creations, at least give those who want it a chance.
I'm thinking by 2025, Origins will be done. That's what I'm thinking. If they're going to finish the line, I'd say we probably have another year.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's winding down as well. I don't know how much further they're going to go with the Masterverse, but Masterverse, for some people, has been the way to go. I think Jones would rather have the Masterverse figures than Origins. And he's been quite happy with some of the re-released figures in that line, like the Man-at-Arms.
There's a lot of people that want the Masterverse because they can't get the classics because they're so overpriced, and it's the replacement for it. And I can totally understand that. I can totally see it.
Let me catch up with the chat right quick. J80 Hobby's got to head out. Y'all have a good day. Great hanging out with the chat. Great having you with us, Jay, man. I'm glad you showed up. Susudio says that her Elton John figures are through eBay, and she doesn't know, or Etsy, and she doesn't know anything about Etsy. They have actual figures that are articulating, but they're about $200. Well, I'll tell you, I've ordered from Etsy, and it's a perfectly legitimate place, and people can buy and sell on Etsy. It's not like an auction place. It's like a place for buying and selling for people. A lot of people buy and sell crafts over there. They do home crafting, and they'll sell their little crafts on Etsy. But there are other people who sell, just items over there. A lot of the guys who are doing customs, doing 3D prints and stuff like that, they sell their 3D prints through Etsy. And so it's a perfectly legitimate place. You can set it up with your PayPal or your credit.
Got some replacement stickers for my mask vehicles from the 80s, and I bought those from Etsy.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, you buy from them, and they'll send it to you in the mail, and you shouldn't have a problem because Etsy will make it right for you if you do. You can't be a seller over there if you're trying to cheat folks out of their money and not give them something for what they bought. So
it would be shut down pretty quickly if it wasn't legit.
Yep. And I've had an issue with a customizer over there that was supposed to have sent me some stuff. I'll show you what I bought from him that started everything. This is a handmade Doctor Who First Doctor console that's the right size for the figures that came out. There was a guy on Etsy that was making and selling these, and I bought this from him, and it took me over 2 years to get it. And I bought it through Etsy, and his store no longer exists, and it's because he was selling stuff that he didn't have made yet. You can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get some interesting stuff out on Etsy. Like there is some pretty cool things that you wouldn't think you'd ever get.
But you have to be careful, just like anywhere else. If you order from a customizer, you know what you're getting in for, and sometimes you get burned, and sometimes you don't. I've ran it on here a lot of times about people who make customs. There's some good ones out there, and there's some bad ones out there, and I will tell you, Lee Customs is a good guy. I can tell you that Barbarossa, he's a good guy. It just takes a while for you to get your stuff from him, but you will get your stuff. And then there are people who don't exist anymore, and the reason that they're not around anymore is because they started out with good intentions and then became evil or not so good as it went along. And a lot of that has to do with production time. So if you're going to sell something, sell what you have made. Don't pre-sell stuff and then get yourself so swamped that you can't complete the sales that you've already made.
Yeah.
Chat getting away from me again. Rick says the Fright Zone would have been appropriate since we got most of the Horde gang. Yeah. See, I thought the Fright Zone should have been created before they started creating a playset that was never made of Snake Layer. What do you think about that?
Sorry, I didn't hear you, Bill.
I'm sorry. Rick was talking about the Fright Zone. He thought the Fright Zone should have been released. And then I said, yeah, I think the Fright Zone should have been a playset that they did before they even thought about doing the Snake Layer, which wasn't even a playset done vintage. What do you think?
That's right, yeah. I think some people were kind of torn on that one because there's those who would say, well, that should have been in retail anyway. So yeah, I think that was meant to be in retail anyway. I think it's gonna come. I think it will get made. I think it'll be one of the last playsets that we probably get, but I could see us getting it as long as the line's still going till they get to the very end of the characters.
Yeah,
I could see.
I'm thinking they also need to do the slime pit.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. I want the slime pit. Like, if I had to choose between the two, I honestly want the slime pit because I like slime toys. I like glow-in-the-dark toys. I like water-based toys. That's the stuff that I like more. So, yeah, I want the slime pit.
Yeah. I agree with you on that one. I think the slime pit would print money for them if they would make it.
And there's no way that would be a crowd-funded thing. Like, there's just no way. That is going to be one that would have to hit retail. It would just have to. Or at the very least, Mattel Creations exclusive. I could see them doing it that way.
I think anything Origins is going to be Mattel Creations exclusive here in the next year. Personally,
Yeah, I think it is already starting because they already said that the cartoon line was the only line that was retail. So I don't even know
and to be honest with you, I have no problem with the cartoon line. People don't get me wrong on this, but what
Yeah.
I do believe, and I do think that I've seen so far from the people who have bought them, it is Origins like, but it is not entirely compatible with Origins, and they're a little taller, and it's all brand new bugs.
Yeah, it's not even the same. It's completely. It's like it literally is a completely different line. It is. It's not Origins.
Yeah, yeah. Rick is talking about the figures that he wants to see released: Rio Blast, Cyclone, Too Bad, Multibot, and then Rocks, and Modulock. I'd like to see Modulock released.
Yeah, Modulock.
Radical Mom has her grandson watching with her. He's 14 years old. You know him?
Yep. Like
You
we
better.
got. I got two nephews. So we got Braden and Ryan. That would be Braden.
Rick says Etsy. I doubted the site before. Now, as Bill said, it's legit. Good to know. Mike Fee. Hey, man. Mike Fee says he says, hi, Merry late Christmas, everyone. Good to see you, Mike. I hope you've been feeling better, man. I know you've been kind of sick here lately. Mike says, I'm so tired of the Snake Man. It's overwhelming now. What are your thoughts on the Snake Man and versus the Horde and Skeletor's gang?
I like them, but my favorite faction will always be the Horde. So that's where I go. I like the Horde more than anything else. But I do like the Snake Men. Am I tired of them? Not really, but I'm okay if they move on. Who's left? There's not really anybody left in the Snake Men unless they come out with just brand new characters like they've been doing with Lady Slither and Fang. There's not really anyone left to do that I can even think of. So I think the Snake Men are done.
I do too. And if you guys remember, the Snake Man came along at the end of the regular toy line as well.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of us older guys are not really into the snakes. I can understand, but I'm thinking, so you got He-Man and his gang, and they're fighting Skeletor. Now they got to fight Skeletor and the Horde. Now they got to fight Skeletor and the Horde and the Snake Men. So you gotta make the Snake Men and the Horde and Skeletor's gang fight each other, or you're not going to get anywhere with them. So I guess it could be fun play. And Rick says that they need to take the Slime Pit and combine it with the Fright Zone and release a deluxe playset.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. That would be kind of okay, but wouldn't that be very expensive if they combined it that way? That's where I would have. That's
Yeah,
where I would.
and I'm with Adam on that one. I'm thinking that needs to be two separate releases just for the ability to buy. I would buy a Fright Zone before I bought a Slime Pit, and then Adam would buy a Slime Pit before he bought a Fright Zone.
Right.
Now we can get around that by if they combine them by buying the one set, and then Adam pay me for the Slime Pit, and I send it off to him, and then I get recouped for some of the money for buying the whole thing. I guess we could do that, but that isn't that kind of defeating the purpose, right?
True.
You're welcome, Mike Fee. He says thanks, Bill. Rick says, I thought the cartoon line would have been figures and characters never created back in the day. Cringer, Queen Marlena, and other secondary characters. See, that's what I wanted in the Origins line as well when they started doing King Randor and stuff like that. And they even did the Koldar figure, which was a Mattel Creations thing. Do the cartoon figures in the Origins line. Now they're doing this cartoon line that's kind of Origins like, but it's not in the Origins line. As somebody, I don't know who, might have been Hebrew, took the Filmation cartoon version figure of He-Man and the one that they released in that pack with all the He-Men that were in actual Origins and put them side by side. It's two totally different figures. Even the head sculpt different.
It's a different body bulk and everything.
Yeah.
They're not the
Different.
same. Even the leg sculpts, they're different.
Yeah, it's all different. Yeah, I don't know if they're compatible or not. Now, if they release any kind of Cringer figure in that cartoon line, I'm all about that because I could care less about the figures themselves, but I can take that Cringer. He'll go with Origins just fine.
Yeah. Give me a Cringer or Merlina, like you were saying, or Captain Glenn. I would love a Captain Glenn.
Yeah.
I think it would be.
And we may end up cherry picking the cartoon line in that fashion.
I'm going to. I'm very particular about my film characters. I don't like them all. I only like certain characters. I'm only going to buy certain ones, and I'm going to be done with the line.
Right. Rick says, I thought, yeah, okay, excuse me. Mike B says, we need a blast attack, multibot, Modulok, and the female horde characters. Yeah, I would think that I wish that there had been more female characters released in the Origins line, not just Evil Lynn and Tila.
Yeah. See, the reason why I'm usually biased with females, but I don't like the Origins Tila buck. I'd never liked it. I thought it was too thin, and I just don't like it. I don't know. I'd rather have the guys because of that aspect. But if they did the females differently in the cartoon line, I don't know. I didn't see Tila yet. Has anybody seen Tila yet in the cartoon line? Has anybody actually gotten it? Because I haven't seen it yet. Is it the same buck as the one in the Origins, or is it different?
I've seen pictures of it, and it is a different buck.
Is it different?
Yeah, I think it's a little taller, and the face on it looks kind of funny to me.
Okay.
But I think even her shoes have heels on them, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks, but I think it actually looks more like the cartoon Tila than the Origins figure ever could have been made to look like the cartoon Tila, as a result of being a whole
pull apart though, right?
I think they can, and that's like I said, I don't know how compatible they're going to be with Origins, but I do think you can pop their heads off, pop their arms off. You can pop them at the waist and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Lax Sivarak, Merry Christmas, Bill. I'm off to the airport to catch a plane to Prudhoe Bay, Alaska. Wish me luck. Good luck, Lack. Enjoy your airplane trip. And Rick says Koldar and the Green Goddess were figures that never created in the 80s. So what's the problem with making a Cringer and a Marlena? I agree. There were a lot of things that could have happened in the Origins line that didn't. There were a lot of mistakes made in the Origins line that shouldn't have happened. And it hurt the line ultimately, in my opinion, as far as retail sales go.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's based on the sales. Like maybe those characters will sell more. I don't know. I'm not a toy guy.
I don't either, Adam. I don't understand the thinking behind the I guess the suits up there who decide what's going to be done and what's not. But and of course they think they know better than us, even though we're the ones they're selling to, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes their decisions are questionable.
Well, and then I'm kind of curious when everybody starts getting their Eternia play sets, what that's going to be like. And of course, there's going to be tons and tons and tons of people out there doing videos about it. And I kind of can't wait to just watch them, because I'm wondering how many people bought that and are never going to take it out of the box, and how many people bought that are actually going to take it out of the box. I know one who bought it, who's going to get two of them, and he's going to take one of them out of the box, and he's going to combine it not with the Origins Castle Grayskull and not with the Snake Mountain Castle Grayskull, but with the big classics Castle Grayskull and the classics Snake Mountain. So that's going to be an interesting video to watch when it happens. And I'll tell you who's going to be doing that, because I'm promoting his channel by doing that. And that's going to be Sir Clifton over there on Attorney and Ellipse. He's already told us that that's what he's going to do. That's going to be great to see.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. Yeah, for sure.
And Christina says that she's playing Spider-Man while we're doing this.
He's up here playing Spider-Man on PlayStation.
And Sue Studio saying hey to Mike Fee, and she's posting some Christmas tree emojis there in the chat. So, it's like the day after Christmas, man. There's a mess to clean up, and instead of doing that, I'm sitting here on the air live. I'm sure my wife is going to kill me, but I don't really care right now. I'm just having a good old time here, catching up with my buddy Adam. He and I don't get to do this like we used to back in the day.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Do you find that your time to watch YouTube and to interact with other creators has shrunk as your channel began to grow?
Yep. I'm always forever trying to play catch up, and some of them, unfortunately, not by choice, but some of them just get lost in the mix because you got so many people that I've met in the past 3.5 years that I can only remember so many.
Yeah, I know. I'm suffering from that myself, and I think you and I talked about that a long time ago, back when our channels were just mere little specks on the face of this toy collecting community, and we knew that the day would come when we couldn't do everything that we were doing. We couldn't watch everybody's channel, and we couldn't interact with everyone like we used to, and now here we are, Adam. It happened, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It certainly did. And it's one of those things. Unless some of the ones that we've forgotten come into the stream, we're just not going to remember. But that's kind of one of the reasons why I like some of the people coming into our streams. Like, oh yeah, I got to get caught up with that person's channel because it will remind me to do it.
Same here. Rick says in Canada, people paid over $1,200 for the Eternia set. And that doesn't include surprise import fees that the mailman will bill you for at your door.
I believe it.
Mike Fee says, I did a review on Origins He-Man and Filmation's He-Man and did a part swap, and it looks bad. So check out Mike Fee's channel if you want to see that. I'm going to go do that probably after we stop for the day. I'm going to check that out, Mike. I want to see it.
But they do go
to
and put them together.
Go ahead. Yeah,
okay.
I think that they will fit together, but according to him, it looks pretty bad. Hey, Boba Hicks, what's happening, man? Good to see you. So yeah, the Filmation line is not the Origins line, in my opinion. It is a whole new toy line.
As soon as I saw that chest buck was different, I was like, this is a completely different line. And then I realized that the legs were a different sculpt, and I was like, oh my lord, these aren't the same.
They're not, and like I think Mr. Home Arcade showed off some of the figures, and he talked about the good things and the bad things about them, and I don't want Filmation Beastman. I like Beastman to look like he's supposed to look.
I'm one of them suckers. I do like the Filmation Beastman. He'd be one of the ones that he's actually the first one that I want in Filmation. So, but yeah, it's only going to be the first couple of waves that I go for in the Filmation ones. Other than that, I'm done.
Now, like I said, I'll probably cherry pick the line. If they do an Evil Seed figure, I'll probably do it. He might be able to fit in with Origins. But as far as another figure of a figure I already have in Origins, no way, Jose.
Yeah. How many more He-Mans do I need? Do I keep telling myself? 0, but how many do I keep buying? All of them. Same with Orko. I'm a sucker with Orko. You can make Orko look like a piece of dog crap, and I would buy it.
An Orko fan.
No.
Mike T says Beastman looks like an orange crush can. He liked the classics version of Beastman a lot better. You never were able to. Well, you did at one time. Used to have a few classics figures. Do you still collect that line, or try to get your hands on it? I know the prices are
Yeah,
outrageous.
well, it's still one of the lines that's on my back burner that I will probably forever try to collect, but it's just very difficult due to the price range. But I do watch them. I still look at them. Yeah, I keep my eye out for them. But yes, I still like the classics. Absolutely.
Were you ever able to get the Queen Marlena figure that came with the little Cringer figure?
Not yet. No. I the only one I did get was the Orko and Prince Adam. I didn't get the Queen Marlena though.
Hmm. I always wondered why the little Cringer figure that came with the Queen Marlena figure was not articulated one,
Nope.
and it was out of scale.
It was pretty out of scale. Yeah, he was pretty small, if I'm not mistaken. He's really pretty tiny. He wasn't articulated.
And I kind of wanted to get one just to put it with the Origins because I think it would fit better with the Origins. But the prices that people are for just that one little piece, they'll split the stuff apart and then sell it separately. But just the price for that little Cringer on eBay is ridiculous. And I'm not buying it for that. And yeah, I know I could have it 3D printed, but it ain't the same.
No, it's not. I mean, I keep my eye out on them or whatever. Will I ever get her? Only if it ever becomes in my price range, because I want it for Captain Glenn. That's what I want it
Yeah.
for.
I would like to see a Captain Glenn figure as well. That was she flew the Rainbow Fighter, I think was the name of it, and it crash landed on Eternia, and then King Randor found her, and then she was marooned there, so she became his wife and ultimately the mother of Prince Adam. So yeah, that would be neat to have the Captain Glenn action figure. But I would want it to be in the Origins line. I'm not necessarily wanting it to be in an out of scale, an inch taller than King Randor. That wouldn't work very well, would it?
No. I wish. You know what? You know who I wouldn't, because it could fix both of our problems, is doing a Cringer and a Battle Cat in the new cartoon line, because maybe we could fix both problems. The problem I had with the Origins one was they didn't articulate the paws, and it drove me friggin' bananas.
Yeah, and of course there were those who went and articulated the paws, but they had to cut the paws off and then drill a hole and then put something in there, and then I'm not doing all that. I am a customizer, yes, but I'm not going to do all of that just to get articulated paws.
Right. And maybe what they could do is not only that, but actually make it look like Cringer underneath the whole Battle Cat, and it could solve both their problems.
Yeah, and of course that's what pop actor Rick used to do. He would take Battle Cat's saddle off and pretend that he was Cringer without his helmet and saddle on. But that didn't work for me because he still looked like Battle Cat without the helmet on. Whereas Cringer had this cute face with one little tooth hanging out over here. And,
that's right.
And he was also smaller than Battle Cat. He was about the size of a regular tiger, as opposed to a oversized that you can ride on the back tiger.
Right.
And Mike P says it's sad that Cringer sells so high over there on eBay. Well, I would think that there are ways, and then there are ways. I guess I could bite the bullet and get a Cringer that's been 3D printed, but I'm going to hold out hope that maybe this new cartoon line will give me a Cringer. It's something I've always wanted.
They might. We'll just have to wait and see. I'd be interested to see if they do. If they did, I would certainly be on it, especially if they articulate the paws this time around.
Well, before we go, I was going to ask you a couple more questions about collecting on your end of things. Are there any toy lines that you might be interested in getting into, like if they were to actually release something reasonable here in these days, like say the Thundercats or something like that?
That would be the number one. Would be Thundercats, actually, if someone else acquired the license other than Super 7 and stop giving a bunch of accessories that I don't need in the package.
I
That would be
got you.
fantastic if they did Thundercats. Another one would probably be Voltron. I've never been able to complete Voltron. It drives me bananas. I've never owned a full 5-line set Voltron before because of its price. That would be another one that I would love. So
I would like to see that happen too. I would. And I would think that the Voltron line would be something that would be desirable for people who like Power Rangers as well.
Right. You would think. But I've never seen Voltron at a reasonable price. Not my neck of the woods.
So do you remember the other Voltron, the one that was made out of vehicles?
Oh, the only ones I know is the Voltron line, which is based on the Go Lion one from the Japanese version, if that's the one that you're referring to.
That's the Voltron that I always consider to be Voltron.
Okay.
But there was another toy line in Japan, but when they released it over here in America, they called it Voltron as well, and it had cars and like a helicopter and something like that would combine into a robot. And some people are partial to that Voltron. I was just asking if you were aware of that. Apparently, you didn't see that. I don't know. I don't even know if they did a cartoon show of that or not. Somebody in the chat may know. Pop Actor Rick says he didn't have a sorceress in the 80s, but he played with Zor and pretended that Zor was the sorceress.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
But then you come across somebody as old as I am, and when Zor was first released as a figure, and in his portrayal in the comics, he was a he, and he was a whole separate character from the sorceress.
Right.
He was He-Man's fighting falcon.
Like I said, I've been saying this for a while now. I wish they would come out with a cartoon that was based on those early mini comics, and there you go. You got a whole new toy line that you can do.
That would be fun. He-Man is a jungle man who came out of the jungle and decided that he wanted to be the protector of Castle Grayskull, and there was no Prince Adam, and Skeletor was a real threat in those original mini comics. He wasn't a buffoon. Right.
And when Prince Adam did come around, he was a drunk.
That was in the DC comics. Not only was he a drunk, a drunk, he was also a womanizer. He hung out in the pubs and had 2 women on each arm and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Mike B says the car Voltron sucked, and it also had a cartoon, and he liked the lions better. Well, when I was a kid, I remember when the car Voltron came out, I went, "This isn't Voltron. Voltron's the lions."
Yeah.
Rick says Sorceress didn't come out until 1987. It wasn't my fault. I understand, Rick. Well, Adam, I think it's about time for us to stop this and let you enjoy your day with Christina. But I enjoyed having you come on and hang out with me this early in the morning. I think we spent about a little over 2 hours doing this. And I think we spent about 30 minutes of that setting up OBS together before we started the show, did we not?
Yeah, we did. It's interesting what you can do with OBS. I would recommend OBS to anybody that's starting out a YouTube channel.
It's the bomb. I can tell you that, folks. Well, say goodbye to everybody. Adam, I'm going to play the credits, and we're going to end the show right here, and we'll see you all next time on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. Thanks for being with me today, Adam.
You're most welcome. Thank you, everyone, for listening in and tuning in and checking out our funny rant today.
All right, man. Good journey, everybody.
See ya.
Special thanks to the channel supporters. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like, subscribe, and share the video.